Let's start. I'm trying to get a good thumbnail on there. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone watching the VOD. Hope you're having a good day. Now let's begin the stream. We're baking today. That's the plan. Making bacon. Hello, bro. Welcome. Good morning. How's your day going? Hello, hello. I need to close my blinds in a moment. A little bit lower. Right about there. All right. Excuse me. Goodness. All right. So we're going to call this one pre-baking. And what we'll do, excuse me. First, definitely a few things to fix up. Definitely a few things we need to fix. It's really the only way. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to move it too much, so we're gonna leave it there. Gonna leave it there. I do need to spell it. It's tough because I can't quite see how it's changing. That doesn't seem to be helping. Why would that make it worse? That'll work. Perfect. All right, some mild cleanup. Hopefully stays about this easy. Good enough. Middle ground there is there. Oh my god. Come on. All right. Good enough. Why is it so messed up over there? First we subdivide, then we shrink wrap, and then we mirror. Maybe I should mirror, subdivide, and then shrink wrap. That looks good. Nice cleanup. All right. Now we can move on to the just the jacket itself. We're going to take this whole thing and export this. Excuse me. Into a folder called Bake. And we will make a folder for Cyberpunk. That's the clothing we're baking now. And yeah, just export that. How much of it's going to export though? Make a new file. Take Cyberpunk, grab this one. I should have made this the high poly one. It looks like everything exported. Good. Very good. Okay, good. We can turn those off or disable our ability to select them. Go to the low poly. And we'll call this cyber jacket, low poly, copy, paste, strats. All right, so for both of these, what we need to do is actually create a displacement. And we'll control this through a group called displace. Strength, I'm going to turn down to 0.25. Then we can go in and weight paint that group. We'll do global for now. And then I'll actually turn this off so I can remove some of that influence there. Kind of like that. A little bit more. I just want the sampling to be basically under the jacket there. Looks good. Save. Then we'll do this other jacket. First, we'll copy over the displace. And then also create another group called displace. Go into weight paint. And just give it some very slight amount of strength. So there's a slight gap here. All right, I think that'll do. So turn these off, turn back on the high poly, export this again, this time making sure we actually name it high poly. That'll help. Save that. Back to the low poly. We export everything, don't we? That's great. Right. Sorry, high poly one more time because I do need to include the shoes, casual outfit, everything. Actually, I'm going to move them up. Be a little bit easier to work on if they're just vertical, like so. And then that's all good. I have a mirror mod on it. Don't move the shoe. That's the plan. Do not move the shoe. Um, hmm. Where do my low poly shorts go? Oh, they're still here. That would explain it. Slowly waking up. One little piece at a time. We'll start with this one. Excuse me. I have to break these up. It's actually going to be kind of tough. How to do that best? We'll come back to that. We're gonna get some clipping right there. We're gonna get some clipping. Also, I would like to have like an indented part. Right. All right, there we go. At least so far over. All right. It looks improved, but we're still getting tons of stretching here. Hmm. All right. A little more even. Still some stretching there, but that's a spot that's going to be seen the least. So we can live with that. We can live with that. Perfect. For the high poly shirt, I do need to apply the multi-res and then slice it in half because it is not perfectly mirrored. And we do need this one to be symmetrical. All right, back to the bottom here. Should prevent me from touching that. Excuse me. Why am I dragging? I want it to be a drag. Oh. Mm. I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and get things out so we can start baking them. Here's all the high poly items. Also need to bake the cowboy outfit. Can't forget about that. Because we're not quite done with it either. I just kind of jumped into the cyberpunk stuff and I remember I can't forget. Actually, we're baking with Instamat. So, we create a new collection called Cage. Select all these and hit Alt-D. Very important we hit Alt-D and send them into Cage. And then hide. Actually, sorry, I'm going to delete everything in here. Put this back on. And we should rename these. We should give these specific names. Shirt. Shorts. Shirt low. Shorts. Right, we actually can make everything match up by ensuring that the name is set up properly. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. It's possible, but I feel like I'm just going to spend a lot of time. I don't have to panel B. Yeah, I'll still put low. I can make them match, but I won't right now. Would that be called shoe tag? All right. Everything should have a proper name now. So I take all these Alt-D and send them into Cage. Good. Turn off all these. Now we just have to make sure that they're named underscore Cage. Is it capitalized? I don't think it's capitalized. All right, so now we have the Cage objects. We can hide those. Turn on the read topo for everything else. select them. And this is actually the way you should do cages in general, I realize now, is you should do a linked duplicate and then just have the deformation on the linked duplicate. Because that way you can change the name, make sure the naming convention is correct, and any edits you do to this will always be applied to the other version. Now I can just do this. Keep forgetting. They all have to be on. Both the cages and the... Oh my god. All together. All together. All right, let's see how this goes. So we're going to load up Instanet. Hmm. Uh... Kind of a weird way to bake or to set it up. Oh, the bub job. All right, so here's our low poly. It looks like the deformation is on all of them. So we do need to refresh this by first selecting these, inverting our selection, and making sure displace is off for our... Select these, make sure that's on, hide them, select these, make sure. There. Okay, so I think it is working actually. I think it is working. And then we can go to Window, Mesh Baking. source mesh. Actually, let's add it as a package because we have our assets here. We go ahead and re-import them. Then we can open a resource, bring in our high poly. Should take a little bit or not, no time at all. We got a mesh baking. Source mesh, we'll pick our package resource, our high poly. We'll just do 1024 to start with. Turn off super sampling because that always crashes. Make sure we're using our GPU, very important. And lastly, taking our ambient occlusion settings and turning the sample count to 8. Bake. Quick. And it looks broken in some spots. That might have just been the resolution though. Shoes definitely fucked up. Just bought the Humble Blender bundle, but can't download it till Hubs is done working. So many giant asset packs, such shitty internet connection. Hello, good morning, Arctic. Well, hopefully that gets rectified. Interesting. So the meshes that are broken are my mirrored meshes. The ones that I've mirrored. My mirrored meshes, which I don't think I mirrored this one either. So it seems that Instamat can't bake mirrored meshes. What's the solution there? Turn off the mirrors? Maybe. That wouldn't actually be a bad solution. These still the displaced ones. Interesting. Let's bump it up a little bit. I'm going to do 2048. Good morning, Ray. Hello. I'm going to get some more Red Bull. Be right back. you haven't noticed anything was good in that Humble Bundle deal I posted? I haven't taken a look at it. Or I didn't notice it, I should say. Let's see. Then it's probably the one that. Arctic just got. Bakemaster. 42 items. Wow. Ultimate base. No, I can't. Why can't I click this? Interesting. Seems pretty good for the most part. I can't say for sure that it's like gonna fit what you're looking for, but it looks good to me. Yeah, I mean, it looks solid. Some of these tools do seem to do the same thing, though. Like this better FBX importer and exporter, and then this Blender to Unity and Blender Unreal, that's probably doing the same thing. ReTopoFlow is free. Bakemaster, and then you also have a baking tool there, and then a baking tool here. So, and then a baking tool here. So there's 3 baking tools packaged up in here. Facets alone is probably worth it, though. If you want to rig things for using iPhone and facial animations. And then the other important thing I would say is that some of these are like single assets and other things are very large assets. Like this is just a tutorial on how to make a car. This is just a tire tread. But then you have these huge packs. It does seem like they kind of just grab stuff at random. But overall, it seems pretty good. Does seem pretty good. Especially if you want to just start making environments right away. Like these large 3D assets, the sanitary rocks and cyberpunk streets, like if stylized food, those kinds of things, like those can be quite expensive on their own. So seems like there is some good stuff. I would say it's definitely seems to be geared towards starting to make a video game right away. It's not necessarily geared towards like making Blender assets necessarily, more towards game developers, less towards Blender artists. But again, that's pretty good for $30. Pretty hard price to beat. If you're really on the fence, I would say the weekly freebies from the Unreal Engine Unreal Marketplace are probably pretty comparable. You could just wait and get most of those. More interested in making things for avatars and maybe worlds. Well, I mean, if you want to make like if I was going to make a D&D world, like this might be really worth it because making 3D assets takes a ton of time and they've got a ton of stuff just ready to go. So that kind of stuff might be worth it if you're not going to be making the world completely by hand. Other than that, I'm not sure what rig is here. I feel like Rigify would probably help. Oh, this is a tutorial. Okay, this is a tutorial. I would say that the UV Packmaster, Faceit, there are a few things in here that are worth it. I'll just say that. Better baking, Retopo Flow. Again, there is a free version of Retopo Flow, so. Does Faceit help add face tracking for 3D models? Yes. It's not a one-stop shop for VR chat, though. You would still need to bake what you make in Faceit and then transfer it to your model. But personally, I just use AutoRig Pro. I think it's pretty comparable. And I own Faceit too. I've used that quite frequently. My only issue with Faceit is that it just is just for iPhone face tracking. At least last time I looked at it. Man, this did not bake well right here. Absolutely. If you're looking to start making environments right away, that seems like a fantastic pack. The baking tools, pretty nice. Some of those things are not quite as comparable to the others. Like there's like one tire tread texture in there compared to like a full city generator, basically, or asset pack. It's kind of, that's a little funny to me, but not in a bad way, just kind of comical. I kind of would like something to generate a starter landscape. Um, excuse me. Depends on what you mean by that. There's a free add-on in Blender called Ant Landscape. I think it's just in your preferences. If you go to edit preferences, add-ons, and then Ant. Where is it? Landscape. Yeah. Add mesh ANT landscape. And you can just, once you have it enabled, you can just generate kind of a landscape at any time. There's a lot of options in here. Again, just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Environments take a long time. Environments are hard. Wow, that just looks destroyed. Why is it so bad here? See this part. Let's say file or window, mesh baking. Where's my window? Oh, it's down here. Very hard to see. I almost lost it. Let's say don't use cage mesh normals. Well, thank you, Ray. Hello, Nog Violin. Welcome back. Can I ask? You can ask. Can you send your Discord server? Absolutely. There you go. The only rule is don't solicit people. Don't ask them for paid work. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I just have to give you a warning. Or give everyone a... It's the sign on the door, so to speak. Something's really odd about the... baking. Let's try one of the other solutions I've found for mirroring in the past, which is to triangulate. I'm going to hide that. Absolutely. Excuse me. All right, let's see if that helps. So this is the... And then I'm also going to include one more object. One more object. Called cube. And we'll call this Cyberpunk Cage. And go to GeoNode. New Cage. Collection info. We need 3 of these. And then we're going to make sure we sample the collections. And then we will set position First, we'll realize the instances, and we'll set position based on the normal, which we will scale. By multiplying this against a named attribute, displace. How far do we export or push it? 0.25. There we go. So now we recreated all the displacement on our large cage object. Man, that looks weird. Well, welcome. Welcome to the Discord. So now I should be able to export this cage alongside everything else. That way, I only need to update one object, many objects. Export, save, back to here, go to meshes, re-import. All right, let's try baking again. Hello, Ariso. Welcome. Oh, interesting. Right-click Shift adjusts the background. Good to know. It did bake nice though. Or using the GeoNode for the cage is not a problem. Good. Still not the best bake though. We're getting weirdness right here. And here. Okay. Now, a few other things to change. First things first, let's go look at the UV editing for this guy right here. Need to make sure we have the mirror U on. Cooking today, aren't we? Yes, indeed. A little more cooking today. So, the main issue with these is simply that they need to be mirrored. All of the mirrors need mirroring. Maybe an obvious thing to say, but it sounds like an obvious thing to say, but we need to mirror them all. Okay. So that means that we need to redo our map here. First things first, the objects that touch need to be in the middle. So that would be this one, the shirt. What's this? That is the strap. Okay, get rid of that. There's really just not enough room for everything. That's okay. That is okay, actually. Not everything touches in the middle. Fine. There's just no way to get everything on the same map here at this point. How many materials will this have? So if we look at this, we have 22,000 verts. Which brings us over 8K total. Let's say 72, so just 2K over. If we have just the cyberpunk outfit, which would give us 1, 2, 3 material slots. So we could have a medium rank for just cyberpunk avatar, which is good because I think that's what we'll need to do, which means we can have multiple materials. So we can have one more material. We'll do the jacket separately and the clothes and shoes on the same map. Okay, so first we'll start with the jacket. We're just going to move it around. Excuse me. I'd really like to be able to preview this all together. Hmm. Oh, I could. Interesting. If I could control which section of this was flipping, I could have it flip in the middle. But that's not how that's going to work. Okay. It's hard to visualize this. Hello, Ubaid. Welcome. Oh, sorry. Easier to visualize this way. I guess it's actually, if the mirroring worked properly, it'd be fine, but super, super close to making this all fit on the same map. Now we have this big empty space here. Fuck. Shitty Tetris. Since yesterday's project still not finished, hello SF, is it very difficult? Generally, most sets of clothing or an avatar, that takes about a week to do. Because you have to model it. Well, first you have to make this high poly, then you make the low poly, then you unwrap it, then you texture it, then you rig it, and then you get it into Unity as well. So there's definitely quite a few steps for any of this kind of work. Zintones, welcome. Make the big piece in the corner, stack the eye shape. stack along the sides. So one of the aspects of this is that I'm using the mirror modifier to mirror. Because in the mirror modifier, you can not only mirror the geometry, you can also mirror the UVs. So that does require a certain setup, but I can show you that we're flipping it on the other side. But in order, I need certain pieces, certain edges to touch in the middle. These ones, like this. Just playing Tetris lol. Yeah, it's a 3D art Tetris. And ideally I'd be able to separate certain sections, but I don't think I can. I could make a geometry nodes to do it. But that would probably get far more complicated. It would work though. That way I could have one object with multiple flips. Do I want to do that? I don't know if I want to do that. I'm really torn on that. Does mirror save on memory? It allows me to work a bit more non-destructively, where I'm not making changes that feel as permanent. Because for example, like, because I don't have to do this twice, right? We're doing the work on one side and it's automatically getting mirrored to the other side. So that way I'm doing half the work. In some senses. Then there's, sometimes it makes things more complex. So you pretty much always have some sort of trade-off with this kind of work. That's not bad. I was making a square, but I'm not making a square, I'm making a rectangle. A rectangle. Okay, we are going to try the mirror method. That is bad for consumers if they want to add a logo onto the back of someone's sleeve, it'll mess it up. I'm afraid you don't have much experience with this kind of work. The whole point of working like this is, in fact, to make it easier for the customers to add things. I think there's a lot of different ways to approach these kinds of projects, but it is to make it easier for you, the artist, to add things the client can only request. It should do both, because hopefully, ideally, it does both. But in this case, because I could mirror I could overlap all my UVs completely. That's really where you're trying to make some efficiencies, where you do overlapping UVs. A lot of times that's how people save on memory or things like that. But in this case, I wonder how we're going to merge these. It actually won't be too bad. But because we're making them have both sides have their spot on the texture, then we can, that allows for a lot of easier editing later, such as editing textures and things like that. If we make them overlap, then that gets a little bit more difficult. Then you have to use something like a decal or Also, hello, Snarden. Welcome. Oh, excuse me. Whew. I'm burpy today. It's all that Red Bull. All that Red Bull. So close, yet so far with this. It's like there's just not enough room for everything. Actually, why couldn't I just flip it arbitrarily? Why do I need to have to worry about flipping it on the axis? I could flip it at any point. Interesting. That joining while I'm working on UVs too. Well, hello, Maria. Welcome. I could flip it any which way I want. That means I could put this here, and then this one here. That'll work. Okay, nice. And then we can actually bring back the jacket and have it connect again. Yeah, because we'll just have this section mirror here, so it should be like this. And then this one too, we'll have it mirror on this way. Because I don't need to mirror them on the axis if I'm going to do geonodes. I can mirror them any way I want. Nice. Why are you manually positioning them again? Why not use pack islands? Because the mirroring, I'm mirroring the UVs. I'm not just mirroring the object. I'm also mirroring the UVs in order to have a full texture, the ability to texture the full object instead of having overlapping UVs. But, excuse me, sorry to be burping so much. Very burpy today. And then I could also, even better, I could mirror them this way. Yes, I see it. I see it now. We'll have a decently large empty space here. No, I don't need that. Because I could do this. And then that here. Yes. Okay. Yes. This will work. All right. Now we have to make this in geometry nodes. UDIM's the right way, I guess. Unfortunately, the UDIMs are in Unity are locked. Why you manually position them again? Why not use pack islands? I understand. Why would it be overlapping? So right here, if I have this option to mirror the data. So I can mirror the data. Or, I'm sorry, for Maria. Unity does support UDIMs, but VRChat does not. So that's specifically where this character is going. But here on the mirror UV, if I turn this off and I apply the mesh with just the mirror modifier, then all the there's two sides to the mesh, but they're all overlapping, right? So that's the standard mirror. If I turn this on and then apply it, now I have them on both sides of my axis. This isn't quite how we're going to set it up because I'm going to do a little bit extra. Actually, that does work super well. No, it doesn't, because these intersect with each other. We always still need to flip them. Okay. If that makes sense. But the main reason is I don't want them to overlap because Instamat does not like overlapping UVs for baking. It really, really does not. It's interesting to know I do 3D for game meshes portfolio. I'm a bit overwhelmed to have good bakes right now. I've switched all my baking over to Instamat for now. I used to use Substance Painter, and it's a good program. But we've been doing some experimenting with Instamat, and so far it's pretty good. So far I am enjoying it quite a bit. Definitely some differences, but not bad differences. Just another learning curve. Never stop learning with 3D work, that's for sure. What does Instamat do? It is a replacement of Substance Painter. Specifically, it's basically like if you took Substance Painter and Substance Designer and combined them. They're basically the same thing. So you can have the nice graph workflow of making like procedural textures and stuff. And software make instant materials. And then you also have the ability to do layered painting, which is generally Substance Painter works, which you're kind of layering materials and stuff. Let's make this a little bit smaller, and then we're almost there. And then we got to do our GeoNode UV mirroring. It'll be interesting. Actually, does that even work? Yeah, because it's just a stored position as the UV map. As long as I... Actually, that's... I don't know if I can repack the UV map back into it. That's actually an unknown. It would be really nice. Snardom, do you have a... Have you ever tried to update the UV map on a material, on an object with GeoNodes? I guess, you know what? I could still keep it... I could just do this. That'll work. Yeah, we'll just do that for now. Not perfect, but as optimized as I think we'll get. Being a little lazy on that part. I could try the geometry nodes, but I have a feeling it's not actually going to work the way I would want it to. Now these two objects here, we'll take this one and this one and flip them on the X. They actually need to be on the other side. Or that one's right. Yeah. The sleeve is also right. Okay, just this portion here. Cool. All right, that'll work. And now we need to do the same with our shoe, shirt, shorts, and shoe. have to check it out sometime. I bake in Marmoset, but for a full character, I will try to stick with Substance, I think. I'm hoping to do some more tutorials and stuff on how to use Instamat, excuse me, for specifically for VR chat. So I definitely want to encourage people to switch over because as much as I like Substance Painter, I do think Adobe is awful. Adobe really makes me mad. So I'll do my best to encourage people to switch, but definitely it's a learning curve no matter what. I think anything's. Is there anything that's not a learning curve these days? What program have you ever used that you haven't had to learn? But certainly for if you're doing like paid work or something, you don't want to just switch over in the midst of a freelance assignment or something. It's a recipe for pain. Recipe for pain. All right, that'll work. And then we can just fit everything else on here. Nice. This section should go right here. Anything else that needs to be mirrored? I don't think so. Say no. Perfect. Tetris. Well, check the tuts out surely. Oh heck yeah! One of the recent ones I did was how to make a something like an anchor point in Instamat. But honestly, the graph-based system in Instamat, which I'll probably go over later today, or once I'm actually in there, there's a lot you can do with it. I wouldn't be surprised to just actually be able to develop much better workflows long term, but it'll take some time to get there. Surely take some time to get there. All right, so now we have two materials. We're gonna do just the jacket first now. Go back out. We have Cyberpunk. Do just the jacket. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I forgot my. This guy. Balls. Where did we put him? Sure. Back to GeoNodes. So this should be just the Cyberpunk jacket. We'll call it Cage Jacket. Cool. And just delete these. Good morning, Sky. Hello. So what I've done here is I'm using a GeoNode modifier to make my cage. It's a little bit simpler that way. Just a little bit, though. Not like majorly. And we'll duplicate it and call this Cyberpunk Casual. Change my mind. One more time. Let's make this Miles Cyberpunk Jacket. Re-export that into its own folder. Cyberpunk Jacket. Yeah, there we go. That's the actual thing. I like the jacket. Well, thank you. Funny thing, I started playing Cyberpunk VR last week. Ooh, how's that going? Sounds fun. Amazingly immersive. Oh my god. Must be dope driving with VR mode too. That'd be awesome. One thing though, with the Beyond, it's tricky looking at the UI on the sides. Gotcha. I've heard that as well. Thank you, Maria. Sneezy. Sneezy today. All right, now we can export the high poly. And the high poly casual. All right, back to Instamat. So we're going to go ahead and delete Cyberpunk Baking, go to our assets, delete these, yes. Then we will import up top Cyberpunk Jacket, just the jacket. Cool, save. We'll make a new layering workflow, which we'll call Miles Cyberpunk Jacket. Bake. Now we got rid of the other ones. Cool. Window, bake, GPU. You need to add in the jacket high poly. Jacket high poly, bam. Okay, so this should bake nicely. So if you have something like guidelines or terms of service for your clients. Yeah, I would say so. On my commission form, it does go over a few things. And then I do have like a payment guidelines, like expectations for payment, which is basically like, you know, pay it half up front, half at the end, what a refund would cover, things like that. But yeah, I think an upfront plan definitely helps. Wow, what the fuck? Look at that. Crunchy. Overall, it's baking pretty nice, but we're still getting some major issues. Right in here. Here, why is that? All right. Let's just focus on the jacket for right now. Turn on displace. This doesn't seem that bad. Oh, gotcha. This did get shifted around though. That would do it. That would do it. Happening the same to me, but nearly perfect bake yours. Well, thank you. You know, I've never, there's always a bit of back and forth with this kind of work. One step forward, two steps back, something like that. You just gotta roll with the punches, I guess. Adjusting the cage or the low poly right now. This will adjust both. So my cage is derived from my low poly. I like to use a displace modifier, though I've recreated it in geometry nodes, but recreated my displace modifier with the geometry nodes one. But it's basically the same, just to using taking the low poly, displacing it out along the normals, and that usually gives me very solid results. The most important thing about the cage is not necessarily the shape, though that is important, but it's actually the UV map. The UV map for your cage and your low poly need to be exactly the same, especially in Substance Painter. It just won't know what you're trying to do. So that's usually what matters more. Because first it looks at your UV map and it goes, okay, what chunk of the cage overlaps with the chunk of the low poly? Like what part of the cage should apply to the low poly. Learned this the hard way last week. It is amazing to me. It's just like there's so much to learn with this kind of work. But what amazes me more is how little of it is explained in the software you use. Like very few times has the software gone like, hey, these are my expectations. It's usually like just assumes you know how to use it already. And I find that so bizarre. Like I don't know why would you make a car or just assume, I guess that is how cars are made, but anyway, it just feels almost like it's self-sabotaging. I was thinking, you have noticed that I've been asking multiple questions regarding the soft part of a commission, talking to the client, defining terms, chat pricing. Do you have any plans for making a course related to that? I don't think I'd make a course for commission stuff, like how to get commissions. The work does matter more. I would rather that's something I'd be happy to just talk about publicly. Maybe I'll make a YouTube video about it. I don't think I would put that in a course though, because I feel like I couldn't guarantee. Like I wouldn't want to go, oh, you'll for sure get work this way. Like I don't think that's like a guarantee that I can make, because it does come down much more to the work in that regard. So that's my only hesitation there. It's like I don't want to imply like, hey, learn about how to do commissions and you'll get commissions, because that's not a guarantee. Or like, anyway, so I'd be happy to make that advice public. And I certainly don't mind talking about it here either. So anytime you just have questions or concerns, just feel free to reach out. Because I do think that's kind of more, how to say it? Those are problems that we should deal with as a community. Anyway, maybe that makes more sense. It's like, I would rather the freelance community just have a lot of good information, and worry more about learning the technical aspects. Anyway, but yeah, I'm always happy to share commission information, or like what that's like and what you would want to look out for, because it's certainly an odd world, very odd world, the commission world, the freelance world. Uh-oh. It should straighten properly. Oh no, it won't. It won't straighten properly, because there's an indent. That's why I was asking. I honestly believe that we all have room to improve in every aspect, and I do acknowledge my weakest point at the moment is literally dealing with the client. Because of my talent, I know I have to improve there. Even if I consider myself good, I'm happy to know I still have stuff to improve, however, not as much as the soft part. Yeah, there's no end to this road. You'll always be learning a little more. That's the fun part and the hard part. All right, that should work. Okay. Now we redid the collar. Anything else that's messing up a bunch? Right in here, but this is all the distorted mesh. For me, it's very valuable advice you're giving me related to commissions, so I ask you for a course that I'm willing to pay. If your advice gives me more money than makes sense, I would spend some of it on it. Time to go pet some kitties again. Have a nice rest of your day. Enjoy the cat petting Arctic. And have a good weekend and a good rest of your Friday. Hopefully we'll see you Monday. Bye, Arctic. Bye. Well, you're always welcome to donate if you're interested in throwing money at me. Yeah, for the commission work, I would just be happy to talk about it publicly because everyone benefits from that, including commissioners. It's weird. Why does it look like that? Did you do the cool jacket in ZBrush or in Marvelous? All in Blender, actually. And I did, if you check out the last 2 days, I did, they are up on my VODs. But I used a lot of cloth brushes to kind of push things around and geometry nodes for little bevels and stuff and little details. That looks really bad right there. Why is it so bad? It's because I did not name this cage. That's what I forgot to do. Cool, thank you. I just found your channel now. Sorry, no, you're totally fine, Maria. No worries at all. Yeah, I try to stream daily, and all my streams are up. So I'm just saying because I think I'd love to share information. So a lot of what I've done, you can go back because sometimes it is a big chunk of time. Like if I do an avatar, it's like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of work sometimes. So if there's ever a specific step you'd want to go back and review, it should be up there. Sam is becoming famous. So happy. Me also concerned that he could forget about me. No, not at all, Riso. I think I'd be a different person if that was the case. Excuse me. I wish I could just keep that saved. Should be an option in here. What the fuck? Why is it still weird? Oh, wait. Huh. Something's wrong. This definitely looks wrong right here. Did it load? Are these my latest images? Hmm. Looks recent. Man, this is not baking as well as some of my other stuff. Sad. Oh, that actually is interesting. It's super distorted here. Let's just redo the... Let's hide that. Turn on our high poly stuff again. Go to our low poly. And let's turn on displace again. Ah, okay. I see. Something about the gotcha. So my geometry node displacement is too strong. It should look much closer to the jacket here, but it's way off. So very different, especially right here. So what about it is incorrect? We have we're multiplying our normal times the scale. Should be right there, just about. Oh, okay, well, 0. Love that. Well, of course it's 0 there, though, because I'm grabbing it exactly. Okay, I see. I see why my brain is turning off on that. Because I have to go to this one. I have to turn off the displace here. Oh. But it's still off. This should change both of them. It does. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate the low poly, send this out into my scene collection, hide this one. Now I should have just the geometry nodes one, the original. But here's a geo node here, and we want it to match this exactly. Why is it so different? Should be very, very similar. But it's not. Scale. The normal should be normalized, right? I mean, that seems like an obvious thing to say. Just in case. Normalize. I mean, that should be a given. Yeah, it's not changing at all, so that's fine. Maybe this is not... Yeah, so we'll do a map range. No. 0.125. Ah, 0.125. I have to go start cooking chickpeas for dinner tonight. See you next time. It was nice to watch. Enjoy your day, Maria. Thank you for hanging out. I do hope you enjoy your chickpeas. I love chickpeas as well. And that's probably what I'm going to have for lunch, actually. But enjoy your day. I will be back later this afternoon and then Monday. So hope to see you sometime soon. All right, but now it matches exactly. Why would that be a little different though? Because we have the strength is 0.25. Oh, I see. It's the mid-level. The mid-level. Because 0.5 times 25 is 0.125. So these values multiply together, and then that's what I actually need to use geometry notes. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bye, Maria. Bye. All right, so this should work better, hopefully. Now it matches the displace modifier exactly. So one more time into the breach. Exported. We go here, we can re-import. Save. And bake again. Fingers crossed. Right. What do we got? Why is it still broken? Cage mesh normals. Interesting. I don't remember turning that off. Still broken. I feel like it's still holding on to my previous version of the mesh. So I'm going to re-import one more time, save, and we're just going to close and reopen this. So I don't think that's. I get the feeling that's not actually the version of my mesh that's there. Okay, so one more time. I'm just gonna lower the amount so we can just get to the good stuff faster. And the high poly shouldn't be any different. Yay, okay, so it was that. It was my cage that was messing up. It's still a little distended here. So I need to double check my cage is not so poofy. Let's get a little bit of something there. And obviously these are fucked. So these are fucked. Why though? We're going to triangulate before the mirror. We are mirroring the UVs. We got the displace sorted on them. The high poly jacket. Let's turn the subdivision up on it, just in case, and re-export this. Fine. How would it be so crunchy? And it's only crunchy on one side. Are the normals out inside out? No. Hmm. And one more time. This time at 2048. Man, almost there. So close to perfection. And yet it busted. Wonder why. Wonder why that triangulate's betraying me now. Why betraying me? Betraying me now. I have the triangulate on the... Oh. Duh. Okay. Goodness. How did I not notice that? All right, that's pretty obvious why it's happening, because they're overlapping. It's overlapping on itself. Okay. Then one last thing. All right. Yay. It looks okay. Is it missing? Why not export the high poly with them? Oh, God. Please just let me be done. Must not have selected it. When it exported last. Or I did not re-import it. Loaded. All right, we re-imported both of them. Now we're baking both of them. Sure looks like it's not baking anything on these ones. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't see anything getting baked. Okay, enough. So that is the bake. Now we're going to export one more mesh, which will just be the low poly jacket itself. Fuck me. God damn it. I'm tired of exporting, Grandpa. I'm tired. Please. I'm so tired. I'll be back. My UPS finally arrived, so now I'm immune partially to power outages. Nice. I don't think it actually re-imported. Whatever. Take this one, export, and this will actually be the low poly. No. I'm going to overwrite this one. And we're going to turn this back on here. And we'll call this one bacon. And then we'll go ahead and re-import. We'll also add in the baker. All right. So, jacket, baking. There we go. Now we can, okay, see, it wasn't baking earlier. Now it's baking. I can see an edge. All right, that's the baker. Now we want one more scene, which will be jacket painting. And we'll grab just the normal jacket. And then this is the one we'll actually want to add in all the stuff. There's a lot of garbage in there. Interesting. I have the mesh material, though. I could find it there. How do I extract that a little bit better? Do I still just have to manually drop in each one? I'm just not seeing it update. should definitely see something when I do that. Ah, I see. Oh, I see what's going on. Yes, I do. Ah, gotcha. That totally threw me for a loop. Fuck. Okay. So I need to go back here. That's what's going on. That's why they're so different. They had the wrong material. Now we turn the jacket cage back on. This is the baker. Boom. This is the normal one. Boom. Now we can refresh the mesh. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna delete, save, re-import all of them. Right. Now new layering. Firebird, pump, jacket, bake. Baker. All right. Just one material. Good. Bake. All right. A little garbage right there. But this is the bake. So now I should be able to make a new file. Which will be cyberpunk jacket. All right. Then I can drag the bacon. No. But I should be able to at least get these in there. Let's double check that the images are Ooh, excuse me. All right. Holy shit, that took a million years. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Hey there, Dad. How you doing? We're struggling to finish this up. We're in the last stages here of baking this jacket. Coming out pretty well, though. And channel, put it in a group. In the group, we'll add a mesh ID to mask. And we'll sample this color. Good. How's your day going? Hopefully you're up to something fun. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Crunchy in here. So just a little bit more cleanup on the cage, I would say. Like something fun to 3D print. Absolutely. That'd be really fun. Got my 3D printer. It's just need to take the time to set it up at some point. At some point. That's really messed up right here. Something overlapping? The bake is still very rough in a lot of spots. What time is it in your country? In my country, Indonesia, it's 22:30. It's already evening. It'd be 10:30 here. Excuse me. It is 10:30 here. I got another hour and a half until lunch. Coolest day, made bike to the beach. Oh, that sounds really nice. I'm a little jealous. It is humid here. And gross. Quite humid. And quite gross. Thought the sound was dead because it's so quiet when you don't talk. Yeah, I used to listen to music while I streamed, but I get too distracted. Effect for the hurricanes? Most likely. Most likely. Very minimal bad weather here, though. It's just humid. Hmm. I'm on a missive. It's like it's not working. It is working. I'm just clicking the wrong thing. Looking pretty fucking cool already. Nice. Very cool. All right, let's do another material. We'll do up here. We'll call this the silver. Just silver for now. Do a mesh ID mask, and we'll sample. What? I should have the ability to sample the mask. I was just doing that earlier. I have my mesh ID right here. Hello, give me my mesh ID. There we go. I guess it just lost track. Not entirely sure. There's probably 4 here at least. So I need this, that, that. Oh, my eyeball. My eyeball. All these little teeny tiny masks right here. Oh, that looks good. I like this. All right, do another material. And we'll add in another mesh ID. This time we'll sample the red here. One last for the jacket main. Mesh ID. I guess 2 more. That's the maximum amount. We need this. We also need. All right, very cool. All right, let's look up the reference images. That is, this is white piping. A little dirty, a little bit of a grunge effect. Go ahead and go back to the bake. Go Windows, Mesh Output, and I am going to turn this up to 4K. And hopefully it doesn't crash. Fingers crossed. That's good. It did work. So it is just the ambient occlusion baking that sucks. So I might try to bake that in a, I don't know. I might try to bake the ambient occlusion in Blender then. Get a higher quality result. Another dinner. It's my papa. Papa. Hey there, Pixie. How you doing? Ooh, crisp. Very crisp at 4K. Love it. Loving it. It looks super nice, but it's too high. Too much. Too much. I'm lurking for some time now. 1% sound for support. Well, I appreciate it. How's your day going? What are you up to? Did my 2 times work now, so me time now. Well, good. I hope you're soaking up your me time. Chilling like a villain. It's important stuff. Home Alone. Do a grunge. Like that. And we get a little bit of splotches. So I'll probably paint some minis later after food time. Ooh, very cool. What kind of minis? Looking so good. Terran. Ooh, very cool. Well, thank you, Spixie. It's coming together. Coming together. Need a little bit more noise, I think. One more layer of noise. So we'll call this the jacket noise roughness. Do one more layer. And we'll call this jacket noise frequency. Mask filter, do the grunge. What's the difference with scatter? I regret turning that on. We'll just do just grunge. And this one, something very high frequency noise. Dense noise. Dense noise 1. Turn up that contrast. Turn down the color. Here's the bumpy. Just like the tiniest amount makes such a huge difference. We're very good at picking up high frequency noise. It's not yellow, is it? Green yellow. It's very yellow here. It's very neon yellow, so we'll up that saturation a little bit more. And I think our highlight will turn up too. Even our shadow. So pop a little. Boom. Pop and lock, baby. And then we'll also add a paint. We'll set to linear dodge. So I'd like to. I would like to add some color. Huh. I'm not seeing anything. Interesting. Oh, duh. I'm in the wrong mask. I need to paint on this layer. Ham-handed with that. forgot the silver is already on top of it, so it's not going to affect anything. I go a little stronger. Where? All right, beautiful. Yeah, it looks way better. I'm just gonna go in there and really clean it up. Get her done. Gorgeous. That does look a lot better. I'm gonna use symmetry for this. Bum 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 bum. Zipper. Not baked very well. I put a lot of detail in the geometry for the zipper, and it does not even show up. So probably should have reconsidered that. Oh well. Mm. Hmm. The Mesh ID mask I like, but there's something about it where it's very aliased. It's like I don't know how to balance that because I can turn up the tolerance, but I don't feel like it cleans up in the way I expect. And then softness does nothing. Hmm. Like if I go in and I turn on the paint, when I'm painting this, you can see me filling in those gaps, but how come adjusting the mask, I can't. I can't actually fill in those gaps myself. Like that should be, that Mesh ID mask should be getting that. That's the whole point. Um, how can I avoid that? When we go to bake in the Windows bake settings, what settings do we have for Mesh ID? Just that. I do have super sampling right here. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it with super sampling. It's probably gonna crash. Nice. Okay, it didn't crash. Good news. All right. Did that help? It seems worse. Or maybe it's just my adjustment of this tolerance here. Yeah. No, that seems good. It does seem better, actually. Still getting through the gaps here, though. It does look cleaner, though. I will have to bake with higher super sampling. Looks nice. Um, what next? So we definitely need to clean up the cage. So go here, turn on our displace, turn on our high poly, and then see what we can do. Hmm. Apparently blurring is really where it's at. Come on, come on. So close. That's definitely clipping a ton right here. And how to avoid that though. I'd rather just sculpt this. Can you access shape keys with GeoNodes? There's an add-on. We'll use a driver. So I will make a shape key. Yeah. Yes, I will. Don't really want to, but I will. We'll give it one shot with just this, trying to get this as close, as tight as possible without needing to change too much. Super crunchy here. Super crunchy. I don't think that's a UV map, though. Nope, totally is. Okay. I think it is the UV map. A lot of stretching here. So this is definitely just it clipping through. All right, we'll see how that goes. This is the baker. Here, baker. And refresh the mesh. And bake. I am using the cage normals. I think I want to. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Ugh. Ugh. Hello, Kaiser. It's been a while. How you doing? More and more modeling, I understand that what I thought was pinnacle of modeling in old models actually sucked. Relatable. Oh man, it's still using the old model. Instamat does not always update models. Um, Bevel plus sub-D hard surface, yay. Gotta go geometry nodes. Gotta learn geometry nodes. It's the only way. It's the only way. Did export this, right? Brr. Still getting some messiness right there. Right here too. Um, it's gotta be a better way for the cage. It really has to be a better way. I'm exhausted tweaking all of this back and forth again and again. It really shouldn't be this difficult. But yeah, definitely I find about every 3 months, 3 or 4 months, I end up changing how I model things. Maybe that's just how it should happen, you know? No need to worry about the triangulate. And I really did not want to be spending so much time doing this today. And part of this is because Instamat does not support mirrored meshes. If it baked with mirrored meshes fine, then really would not have been an issue. Took too long. Took too long. All right. Try this again. Welcome back, Ariso. We're still struggling with baking. Minor improvements. Things are looking better. We're still not completely satisfied with our bake here. But it is improving. We did start painting it. It's looking pretty good. Came back, there were 3 people here, but no one commented. It's a pretty chill stream. Kind of like a work stream here, so it's usually a little quiet. But you're always welcome to ask questions. Oh, excuse me. Quiet but vivid. Yeah, we got some clipping here still. This is still really funky right there. Not too worried about this because that's going to be covered up. So, armpit. Lapel, or front, corner, back. No. So, collar corner. We've got the neck back. We've got the where is that right there? Collar crease, chest collar crease. And armpit. Cuff. I think that's about it. I think those are the main things that need to be fixed. Oh, and then collar corner inside. All right. So first things to check are the UV maps. UV maps should be pretty good. Should be. That looks clean. This looks quite clean as well. So probably not the UV maps then. We do, of course, have our shape key. With our displace. I'm just surprised that we're getting any sort of clipping right there at all. Because I don't see any on this side. And we are exporting it triangulated, so maybe it's not these, maybe it's my bake settings. Let's first tweak the inwards. So outwards would be outwards ray length and percentage. What's outwards and inwards here? I mean, that would have to be, sounds pretty straightforward, right? One going in, one going out. Inwards would be towards the center. Outwards would be flying out. Why don't we try outwards? I'm gonna match it 2.5. We are averaging the normals. We are ignoring back faces, so that should be fine. And we are using the cage mesh normals. That can also be an interesting issue. Let's try that outwards ray. Lagging, lagging, wagon. All right, that did not help. In fact, it made it worse. It made it worse in all directions. So that's good news, actually, because that would mean that we want outward ray length as 0. So it's pushing out, and it must be touching another spot. But since we're using a cage, we don't need any outward ray length. We just want to start and go in, and that's it. Big brain. Maybe. I mean, there's no clipping, so it has to be that the ray starts a little bit outside the cage and it gets caught on another piece of geometry.